Hey, how you doing, good people? David Taub here from nextlevelguitar.com. We have a little amp review for you today, and what I want to show you is this Randall 80 RG80 112SC solid state amp. It's a solid state amplifier, transistor amplifier, and this one is from the 80s, early to mid 80s. This one has the 100-watt Celestion speaker in it, stock. So this amp has some kind of neat features, and the reason I want to show it to you is if you're looking for a solid state amp and you're on a budget, these amps you could still find used on Craigslist and eBay and in thrift stores for around 150, 130, 180 bucks, you know, somewhere around there. And they offer some pretty decent features, and for a solid state amp you could use it for practicing in your bedroom, and you could also, this amp is loud at 80 watts, so this can easily be heard in a band situation over the drummer, so you can play this in bands and when you're jamming with your friends. And it's not a bad sounding amp. It is solid state, so it's not going to have the warmth of a tube amp, but you can always put, like I did in another video of ours where we demoed a tube preamp, you can always pop a tube preamp like the Grant Fidelity B283 in the effects loop in this, and then you get that real warm tube sound at a solid state budget price, right? So that it's two channels. It has a clean channel and it has a dirty channel. And the thing about it is it also has the ability where you can play both channels together. Now it comes stock with this Randall RS5 foot switch. And the foot switch is hardwired into the amp. It also has gain for each channel, so even the clean channel you can get to break up a little bit. You can get to add a little gain to that, which is kind of nice. So you could set one channel up for your clean, the dirty channel up for your maybe your dirty rhythm, and then hit both of them together for your lead tone. So it's almost like you can get three channels, which is not really nice to have in a solid state amp at this price. Usually when you're looking at multiple channel amps, especially tube amps, it gets very expensive. And then you have a gain and master for each channel, treble, mid, and bass, you know, standard EQ. You have a presence and a reverb. The reverb is actually pretty good sounding reverb. Has a pretty big reverb tank that runs the whole bottom of the amp. So the reverb actually sounds quite nice. This also has another feature. It has a pull knob. The treble knob pulls out, and at low volumes it adds like a compressor to the distorted channel, so it gives you a little bit more like of a gain kind of sound at lower volumes. This amp also has an effects loop right in the back, which is nice too, so you can, if you have pedal effects, because the distortion, to be totally honest, in this amp doesn't sound all that fantastic. Has a nicer clean sound. But what you could do is just pick up a real nice distortion pedal and just run it in front of the amp or through the effects loop, or if you have chorus or other pedals, having the effects loop is nice. Also has jacks in the back for extension speaker cabinets if you want to add more speakers. This again has that 112, but it is a Celestion 100-watter, so that's a nice speaker to have in a solid state amp that you could pick up at a good price. Has a low and a high input also. But I did find I can kind of dial in, and I've just been experimenting, the distortion to sound a little bit better if you use both channels together, and you could blend them, clean and distorted, and blend those two channels, and that seems to me to have the best distortion sound. And this amp Randall made in the this particular amp, from what I've read and from what I understand, getting the one with the 100-watt Celestion and all in the early to mid 80s, those are kind of like the years of the amp that seem to be the best sounding. I also understand that some pretty big name players have used this Randall amp. Guys like The Edge and Def Leppard have used them, from what I've read. So it has caught the attention of some pretty big name players. So for this demo, I'm going to use this mid 90s Gibson Les Paul Standard Special Edition model. And here's the way it sounds with, I have both. Dial in more tones is fool around with the amount of level of gain and volume on each particular channel, blending them together. Now I got a real dirty side, real dirty. kind of combining both the channels. Now if I kick off the clean channel, now we're just running. I got the gain cranked. Just running out of channel 2, or this the red channel, the dirty channel. Not the best distortion, but it's okay, and it is loud. You can really, like I said, hear this and play it in a full band situation. It does sound a little better when you have both channels. It just really has a little bit more definition. If I cut the gain back a bit, you kind of get that overdrive sound. A little more. So let's go to the clean side. So now I'm running out of the clean channel, or the green channel as I've dubbed it, and it's all clean with just a splash of reverb. Again, I'm running straight from the guitar right into the amp. Nothing in the effects loop, no pedals, anything. Just straight in the amp. And it has not a bad clean sound. Overdrive kind of sound. Not bad, you know, kind of cool. So the amp has a lot of versatility. Just fooling around with the gain and the volume of each channel and then blending them together. That's a nice feature, to be able to blend it so you can almost get, like I said, 3 channels out of this amp. Try to get a 3-channel tube amp, is going to be well over $1,000. I'm back on the dirty channel and I got the gain cranked. Now, watch when I pull the treble switch out. Big drop in volume. But it does seem to compress the signal, maybe even add a little gain. So let's turn up the volume now on that. And you get a really thick, kind of saturated, kind of distorted sound. And if for the lead tone, RG80-112 demo. Hope you enjoyed that. And for the players on a budget, or if you just want to knock around solid state amp, you know, not a bad amp. Has some really cool features to get an effects loop and a Celestion 100-watt speaker, and to set it up where you can have 3 channels for, you know, 150, 180 bucks. You know, hey man, I'm all in, you know, that's not a bad deal. And you can really experiment as per your guitar and your pickups and the tone you like, you know, because that's what it's all about. Find, as far as your music, what sounds best to your ears. and with guitars, what feels best in your hands and sounds best to your ears, right? I'm David Taub. Check out our website at nextlevelguitar.com. And remember, sign up on our email list. We don't send out tons and tons of emails or bother you all the time. But what we do send out is exclusive videos that you can only see people on our email list, as well as we also send out articles where, you know, we write a few paragraphs, tips, and a lot of the tips we ask you, what do you want to learn? What are things you want to learn about guitar? And we send out like a lot of playing tips and gear tips and live tips and things about music that I think you'll find really interesting. And we will see you. We got plenty more lessons and videos and gear reviews coming up. So stay tuned. Put that guitar in your hands every day. Rock on!